In America's deep south, a stretch of the Mississippi with its own notorious nickname.
They call this Cancer Alley.
Where poor black communities say they're being poisoned by mile after mile of heavy industry.
We are nothing. We're not people that live here.
Now plans for a huge new plastics plant threaten the skies over Louisiana, and the people are fighting back.
I'm gonna be here to fight till I die, to make sure that another plant don't come here.
But can they take on big industry and win? Over the Mississippi and into Cancer Alley, as the people who live here call it, where the billboards say it all, and where for mile after mile petrochemical plants belch out fumes and pollution. Wedged between them, poor, largely black communities, trapped, unable to move, and they say, becoming increasingly sick.
It's horrible living here, you know, knowing that you won't make it to be an old age. You know, like our ancestors, they lived to be 90, 95, and now you have people dying at 36 on up, you know, even younger. You know, the kids is our tomorrow, and with what's going on now, we worried about the kids getting cancer.
The houses and chemical plants are in amongst each other. People living under the shadow of their industrial neighbours in one of the most heavily polluted areas in America.
I'm so hurt. You know, every day it's a cry. And now we have the COVID on top of cancer. It's, you don't even want to leave out your house in the morning. And it smells. Y'all just don't know how we have a smell comes here when those plants are escaping gases and all the stuff they're letting out.
Janice Furshow is typical of most people you talk to here. They either have cancer or know many others who do, and they blame it on the pollution.
It's me, myself, my brother, my sister. I have about 8 cousins and my neighbor, and it's a quite bit more, but at least for sure in this area where I'm at, it's 20.
All have cancer?
Who has cancer. I'm just happy that the Lord took it away from my body. But I got a little cousin, she stay in a project. This child is in her 30s, and she had to have both of her breasts removed. My sister had to have both of her breasts removed. And that chemo is just tearing them down.
A new UN report has condemned what's happening in Cancer Alley as environmental racism, a legacy of slavery. The industrial plants are built on plantation land.
I believe that Jesus died on the cross.
And many in the poor black communities who live, work and worship here are descendants of slaves, still getting a raw deal.
They're the weakest people, they're the poorest people, and they're often not the most educated people. So we put the plant there, you know, and the plantation mentality that's been here, many of these plants are located on old plantations.
So this goes back a long way.
It goes back a long way, a long way. And it's very disappointing, but it's time to turn it around.
But far from turning it round, the state has given permission for the biggest plant yet.
It goes from that pole over there where you see all the electric work, because they did the electrical work. Leave from there all the way to the blue sign down here, and all this going to be Formosa. And as with this plant coming and that plant right there, we're on a time bomb.
Taiwanese company Formosa Plastics plans one of the biggest plastic plants in the world here, covering 2,500 acres, but not without a fight from local people.
I have a list of people that have already died from cancer. Then I have a list of people who are dying with cancer as we speak. I feel like our turn is coming. I know that's something harsh to say, but in my heart I feel like that.
Fed up with watching friends dying from cancer, high school teacher Sharon Levine has mobilised her community against the Formosa plant.
I feel bad inside because it's a death sentence. I feel like it's a death sentence. And I feel like if Formosa comes here, they want us to die off. They want us to just pack up and leave. The people don't have the funds to pack up and leave and go somewhere else. I don't have the funds either. So they're not offering to buy anyone out. They're just planning to come here and just build and put their filth on us. So they don't care about the people. They don't care about human lives.
And how much are you prepared to fight that?
I'm gonna fight to the end. Yes, indeed. That plant gonna be 2 miles from my house. They must be losing their mind. God put the right person here to fight. God put the fight in me. This is my home, this is my people, and I'm gonna fight for me and my people.
But it's not just cancer-causing chemicals from the proposed plant that are causing concern. If it's built, it's estimated the new plastics plant will be pumping into the atmosphere something like 2.5 million cars worth of carbon a year, making it one of the biggest single sources of carbon in America and contributing to something already causing problems down in the Mississippi Delta, climate change. We took to the waters on an airboat to see the impact climate change is having on Louisiana's coastline. Diggers are trying to claw back marshland beyond the levees, lost to rising water levels.
This excavator is lifting the mud out of this borrow ditch.
Hampering the work, an unprecedented 5 hurricanes have swept through in the last year, blamed by many scientists on climate change.
It's like they all come in one. It was bam, 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 you know? Like one came, we got out of here, we came back. Another one came, we got out of here, we came back. Another one came, we got out of here, we came back. It was just repetitious over and over.
Further down the coast is a place called Phoenix, ravaged not by fire, but by those 5 hurricanes in the last year, showing little respect for anything in their path.
It's a worry when you leave, you don't know if you're coming home to anything. It's hard. I mean, it's hard to do 4 or 5 times a year.
And are the hurricanes, are they getting worse?
They're getting worse and they're getting more frequent. And I'm sure it's because of things that's happening around the world.
The wind was so strong with the tornado-type wind that we had, it just...
Kenny Barthelemy also watched his neighbour's trailer get trashed. By storms, he says, that are only getting worse.
It just seemed like they're getting more frequently and powerful as time go on. And just like every time they come, it just seems like it's more and more powerful and more damage.
So people watching might think, why do you live here, Kenny? Why do you live in a place that's hit by hurricanes so often?
You know, I just feel like you can't run from God's work. So, you just got to deal with it.
In a statement to Sky News, Formosa Plastics insisted its new plant meets all regulatory criteria, using advanced emissions reduction mechanisms and extensive measures to protect the environment. The state of Louisiana says great care is taken in the site selection process to identify locations that safeguard communities and their residents. State and federal regulators require an extensive environmental permitting process before construction can begin. And they say plans for new plants are subject to public consultation. But America's new president, Joe Biden, has singled out Cancer Alley by name as somewhere environmental justice needs to be addressed. The people who live there say they'll hold him to his word.
It's time to put a stop to the plants. And even before they start breaking ground, it's time to stop.
Enough is enough. How much more can we stand?
We're dying slowly. They're killing us slowly. And my question to everyone, why are you making our area a sacrifice zone?
Dominic Waghorn, Sky News, Louisiana.